Imagination is the true reality, transcending the limitations of reason and logic. When faced with circumstances that defy explanation or seem insurmountable, remember this: the power to shape your life lies within. It is not through logic that belief is born, but by assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled and living in that state. Faith, grounded not in the visible, but in the unseen, holds the key to unlocking the reality you desire. Through persistence and intentional inner conversations, you can transform the external world to conform to your inner vision. Imagination is the true reality, and it is the force that moves the world. What you imagine and feel deeply is what shapes your life. It is not the external world that determines your future, but the inner world you cultivate through your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs. In the face of challenges, doubts, and circumstances that defy reason, the imagination is the key to unlocking the reality you desire. The reason logic and reason may fail you is that they are limited by what you see in the present moment, but imagination knows no limits. Imagination is not confined to what is already known. It taps into a realm of endless possibilities. It reaches beyond the constraints of time, space, and material reality. You may find yourself caught in a moment of doubt when everything in your life seems to contradict your dreams. Reason might tell you that it is impossible to achieve what you desire. It will point to the evidence around you and say, "This is how things are. How can you believe in something different?" But Neville Goddard reminds us that your circumstances are nothing but the reflection of your inner assumptions. They are shaped by the beliefs and thoughts you hold within yourself. If reason were truly the guiding force of life, then change would be impossible. But change is happening all the time, and it starts with the way you choose to see and feel about your reality. Imagination is your connection to the unseen world, a world that exists in the realm of potentiality. When you begin to imagine and feel the reality you desire, you are stepping into a higher, truer realm of existence. You are no longer limited by what the senses show you. You are tapping into the power of creation itself. When you imagine, you are not just fantasizing. You are engaging with the creative force that underlies all of life. The more vividly and emotionally you immerse yourself in this imagination, the more real it becomes. The more real it feels, the closer it brings you to its manifestation in the physical world. The imagination is a tool for creation, but it requires your full participation. Simply wishing for something and hoping for the best is not enough. You must assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. This means imagining and feeling as though your desire has already been realized. Live in that state as if it is already true and align your thoughts, actions, and emotions with that belief. This is the power of imagination. It allows you to live in the end result before it is physically manifested. When reason denies you, when logic tells you that it cannot be done, that is the perfect moment to embrace the full power of your imagination. Reason relies on the evidence of the senses and the past, while imagination is rooted in possibility and the future. Imagination can show you a new path, a path that reason would never recognize. It can create opportunities where none existed before. The key is to trust in this inner vision and give it the energy and belief it deserves. In this world, we are constantly faced with external influences that attempt to define us, our worth, and our future. These influences, driven by logic and reason, create barriers that limit our perception of what is possible. But within you, there is a power far greater than any limitation the world might try to impose. This power is your imagination. Your ability to conceive of a life that transcends your current circumstances. When you step into this power, you no longer need to rely on the external world to determine your fate. You become the creator of your own reality. The more you practice imagining your desired outcomes, the more real they become. At first, your reason might fight you, telling you that it is impossible, that you are merely dreaming. But as you persist, the external world will begin to shift, ever so subtly at first, to align with the reality you have been imagining. You will start to notice opportunities appearing where there were once only obstacles, doors opening where they seemed to be closed. This is the power of imagination. When you believe in it, when you give it life through feeling and faith, it will begin to shape your world. So, in those moments when reason denies you, when everything around you seems to be working against you, remember this: the power to change your life lies within you. It is not the world that must change. It is your inner vision that must align with your deepest desires. Through imagination, you have the ability to step into a new reality, one where anything is possible. All you need to do is believe it, feel it, and live as though it is already true. Your imagination will guide you to the life you've always dreamed of, if only you are willing to trust in it fully. To believe it when reason denies it, one must first understand the power of assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. This is not merely a thought or a passing wish. It is a deep emotional experience that transcends logical understanding. It is the feeling of living in the end result, as though your desire has already come to pass. Imagine for a moment that what you desire is already a part of your life. Feel it, not as something distant or unattainable, but as something that is present right now, in this moment. This is where belief begins. Not in the intellect, not in the analysis of what is possible, but in the heart, where the feeling is born. The key to truly believing is not to focus on how or when your desire will come to fruition, but to immerse yourself in the feeling of its fulfillment. It's the assumption that your wish is already a reality that opens the door to its manifestation. When you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you are no longer at the mercy of reason or logic. You are operating in the realm of the unseen, where all things are possible and all things are created. Logic tells you to look at your circumstances, your bank balance, your relationships, and judge them against your desires. It will say that your dreams are too far-fetched, too distant, too unrealistic. But the power of the assumption is that you do not need to see anything in the physical world to know that your wish is already yours. This feeling of fulfillment must be lived as though it is already true. You must imagine yourself living the life you desire with all your senses, feeling the emotions, hearing the sounds, seeing the sights, and experiencing the peace and joy that come with having your wish fulfilled. The moment you step into this emotional state, your desire begins to take form. You stop seeing yourself as a person who is lacking or striving for something. Instead, you see yourself as a person who has already attained it, and you feel that truth in every fiber of your being. The assumption is not a mental exercise, it is an emotional state. When you embody this state, you align yourself with the universal laws of creation, which always respond to the feeling, not the thought. Most people try to make things happen through sheer effort, through pushing against reality and forcing change. But this is not the way of creation. Creation happens effortlessly when you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. You don't need to manipulate your circumstances. They will begin to conform to the feeling that you hold. When you feel that your desire is already true, the universe begins to rearrange itself to match your internal state. This is the secret that most people miss. They believe that they must see the result before they can feel it. But the truth is that the feeling creates the result. Once you begin to live in the end result of your desire, it has no choice but to manifest in your world. It's important to remember that the feeling is the bridge between your current reality and your desired reality. It's the emotional key that unlocks the door to the life you want to experience. You cannot afford to wait for external evidence to tell you that your desire is possible. Evidence will only appear after you have assumed the feeling of the wish fulfilled and have lived in that state. The more you live in the feeling of your wish fulfilled, the more real it becomes. This is where belief is born, not from seeing, but from feeling. Once the feeling becomes real, the world must follow suit. It is often said that seeing is believing, but the truth is the opposite. Believing is seeing. You must first believe in your desire, not just as a future possibility, but as a present reality. Once you believe it, once you feel it in your heart and soul, your physical reality will begin to align with that belief. You will start to notice subtle changes, small shifts in circumstances that bring you closer to the fulfillment of your desire. Decide for your own good, for your own safety, for own soul, for your own age. These shifts might not be immediately visible to the naked eye, but if you pay attention, you will see them. Opportunities, connections, and events that seemed impossible before will begin to fall into place. Living in the assumption of the wish fulfilled requires faith and persistence. It is easy to get discouraged when reason tells you that your desires are far off or unattainable. But the key to success is to persist in the assumption regardless of external circumstances. Even when your mind tells you that it is impossible, continue to live as if it is already done. The more you persist in this state, the stronger your belief becomes, and the quicker your desire will manifest in your world. You have the power to create your reality, and the most powerful tool you have is the ability to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. When you do, you will witness the incredible power of belief and imagination in transforming your life. Faith, when rooted in the unseen, is the force that creates the reality you desire. It is not faith in something external or visible, but faith in the inner world that shapes your outer world. This faith is not a passive belief, it is an active force that demands you to trust in the invisible and live as though the unseen is already real. Most people are conditioned to place their faith in what they can see, hear, and touch. They wait for proof, for external validation before they can believe that their desires are achievable. But true faith operates beyond the realm of the senses. It calls you to believe in something greater than what appears to be present, to believe in the possibility of change when all evidence points to the contrary. When reason denies you, faith is your greatest ally. Reason tells you to look at your circumstances and draw conclusions based on what is visible to the eye. It says, you don't have what you want yet. How can you believe it is possible? But faith doesn't require evidence. It requires trust in the unseen. It requires a belief that although you cannot yet see it, the reality you desire is already unfolding. But faith, that's a belief that already wins a reality that is within your imagination when you take action. The law of assumption, as Neville Goddard teaches, works because of this faith in the unseen. It operates on the principle that what you assume to be true, even if it has not yet manifested, is already in the process of becoming a reality. This is the power of faith. It bridges the gap between what is and what can be. To truly live in faith, you must stop relying on external circumstances to tell you what is possible. The outside world is merely a reflection of your inner beliefs and assumptions. When you place your faith in the unseen, you are creating a new internal reality. This new reality, one that aligns with your desires, will begin to reshape the world around you. Your faith is like a seed planted in the fertile soil of your consciousness. It may not sprout immediately, but if you nurture it with belief and feeling, it will eventually grow into a full manifestation. Faith in the unseen requires you to shift your focus away from the apparent lack or struggle in your current situation. Instead of dwelling on the obstacles and challenges, turn your attention to the feeling of having already achieved your goal. This is where true faith lives, within the emotional conviction that your desire is already a reality, even if the physical evidence is not yet present. When you live in this faith, you will start to see the subtle changes in your circumstances. These changes may not be immediately dramatic, but they will guide you toward your goal. This is the beauty of faith. It operates behind the scenes, working in ways that reason cannot comprehend. Faith is also about consistency. It is easy to have faith when everything seems to be going well, when the evidence supports your desire. But the true test of faith comes when things appear to be going in the opposite direction, when your situation seems to be moving further away from your goal. This is the moment when faith is most needed. It is in these moments that you must persist, continuing to believe in the unseen and holding firm to the assumption that your desire is already a part of your reality. The more you continue in this state of faith, the quicker your circumstances will begin to align with your beliefs. In the moments when reason and logic tempt to undermine your faith, remember this: faith is not based on what is visible. It is based on the certainty of what is already yours, even before it has been physically manifested. Faith in the unseen is not wishful thinking. It is the assurance that the invisible laws of the universe are working on your behalf, aligning your desires with the right people, events, and opportunities. It is trusting that everything is happening for your good, even when it appears to be otherwise. True faith is knowing that your desire is inevitable. You may not know exactly how or when it will unfold, but you are certain that it will. You no longer have to question or doubt the process. Faith is the anchor that keeps you grounded when external circumstances try to pull you off course. When you truly believe, not just with your mind, but with your heart and soul, you can rest assured that the universe is already working to bring your desire to fruition every wing of the way. Better still, do you believe? So, when reason tells you that it cannot be done, that your dreams are too big or too far out of reach, remember to place your faith in the unseen. Trust that what you desire is already on its way, even if you cannot yet see it. The more you trust in this invisible force, the more real it becomes. Faith in the unseen is not just a passive waiting game. It is a powerful force that moves mountains, that shapes reality, and that brings your deepest desires into being. Hold on to this faith and watch as your world transforms in alignment with the truth that you have already assumed. The power of inner conversations cannot be overstated. Your inner dialogue is the invisible force that shapes the reality you experience. Every thought, every word you silently speak to yourself, and every assumption you hold in your mind plays a crucial role in creating your world. Most people are unaware of the immense influence of their inner conversations. They are quick to notice what is happening in the external world, but fail to recognize that the true source of their experience lies within their minds. As Neville Goddard teaches, the conversation you have with yourself shapes the world around you. If you wish to change your circumstances, you must first change the conversation you are having in your mind. When you think about your desires, what is the conversation that follows? Do you think to yourself, it's too difficult, or I'll never get there? These types of inner conversations are powerful because they reinforce the beliefs that keep you stuck in your current reality. The mind doesn't distinguish between what is real and what is imagined. It takes whatever conversation you have and turns it into your reality. It takes your reaction. If your inner conversation is filled with doubt, fear, or limitation, then that is the reality you will experience. Your external world will mirror these inner assumptions. But if you change the inner conversation to one of possibility, success, and fulfillment, the external world must begin to reflect this new belief. The key to changing your life is to consciously alter the conversations you are having with yourself. Every time you think about your desires, shift the conversation to one where you already have what you want. Instead of saying, I don't have enough money, start saying, I am abundant. I have everything I need to succeed. Instead of saying, I'm not good enough, say, I am worthy and deserving of all the blessings life has to offer. These inner conversations must be infused with feeling and belief. Simply repeating words without feeling them will not bring about the desired change. You must truly feel as though the new conversation is already true. This emotional charge is what makes the inner conversation so powerful. It is not enough to change your inner conversation once and expect instant results. The mind is a habitual creature, and it takes time for new thoughts and beliefs to take root. The key is persistence. Every time an old limiting thought arises, replace it with a new one that aligns with the reality you wish to create. Over time, these new conversations will become your default, and your reality will shift accordingly. It may feel uncomfortable at first, especially if your current circumstances contradict the new beliefs you are trying to instill. But remember, the external world is simply a reflection of your inner state. If you persist in changing your inner dialogue, the world around you will eventually shift to match it. The more you practice changing your inner conversation, the more powerful it becomes. As your thoughts begin to align with your desires, the world will begin to mirror these new assumptions. You may start to notice synchronicities, unexpected opportunities, and people showing up in your life who reflect your new belief. This is the law of assumption at work. When you assume that something is true, the inner conversation is the catalyst that triggers this process. By aligning your inner dialogue with the reality you wish to create, you are actively participating in the creation of your life. It's important to understand that the inner conversation is not just about affirmations. Affirmations can be helpful, but they are only effective when they are backed by genuine belief and feeling. It is not enough to say, I am wealthy, if deep down you feel that wealth is unattainable for you. The real power lies in changing the inner conversation at a deeper emotional level. When you truly believe that your desires are already yours, the inner conversation becomes an automatic reflection of that belief. In moments of doubt or discouragement, return to your inner conversation. If you find yourself thinking, this will never happen, Gently shift your focus to a new thought. I am worthy of success, and everything I desire is on its way to me. Persist in this new conversation and trust that the world around you will eventually catch up. The external world is not static, it is constantly in motion, reflecting the energy and beliefs you hold within. Distribute direct. When you change your inner conversation, you change the energy you emit, and the universe will respond accordingly. Your inner conversation is not just a tool for manifesting material desires, it also shapes your self picture, your relationships, and your sense of worth. When you change the way you speak to yourself, you change how you perceive yourself. This shift in perception can have a profound impact on every area of your life. When you begin to see yourself as capable, deserving, and worthy, you will naturally begin to take actions that align with this new self concept. You will make decisions from a place of confidence and trust in yourself, and you will attract experiences that reflect this new version of you. In conclusion, your inner conversations are the silent creators of your reality. Every thought, every belief, and every assumption you hold shapes the world around you. If you want to change your circumstances, you must first change the conversation you are having with yourself. By consciously choosing thoughts and beliefs that align with your desires, and by persistently living in the assumption that your desires are already true, you will begin to see your external world shift in alignment with your inner vision. The power to create the life you desire lies within the conversations you have in your own mind. Persistence is the bridge between your desires and their manifestation. It is the unwavering commitment to living in the assumption of the wish fulfilled, no matter what external circumstances may suggest. Life may test your resolve, challenging you with doubts, setbacks, and moments of discouragement. Yet, it is in these very moments that persistence becomes your most powerful ally. Most people give up too soon when they don't see immediate results. They look at the external world and assume that if nothing has changed, then their efforts have been in vain. But persistence is the key to breaking through the surface and reaching the deep currents of creation. It is the constant reaffirmation of your inner state of belief, even when reason and logic tell you otherwise. When you persist in the assumption that your desires are already fulfilled, you are reinforcing the belief that they are inevitable. The external world, which is always reflecting your inner assumptions, may take time to align with your inner state. The process of manifestation is not always immediate, but this delay is not a sign of failure. It is a sign that your persistence is working. Just as a seed takes time to sprout and grow into a plant, so too does your desire need time to manifest fully in the physical world. Persistence is what nurtures this growth. It is the steady, unwavering faith that the seed you've planted will eventually bear fruit. Persistence is not simply about repeating affirmations or thoughts. It is a mindset, a way of being that transcends temporary challenges. To persist is to live in the state of having already achieved your goal, regardless of any evidence to the contrary. It means choosing to trust in the unseen, to have faith in the process, even when the external world is telling you that nothing is happening. The key is to remain consistent, to maintain the feeling of fulfillment even when your senses may be telling you something different. As Neville Goddard explains, living in the end means that you continue to experience your desire as already fulfilled, no matter what circumstances arise. There will be moments when everything seems to go against you, when reason and logic fail to offer any support, when your reality still looks far from the one you wish to experience. This is when the power of persistence is most important. It is easy to remain persistent when things are going well, but the true test comes when your world seems to be at odds with your desire. This is the moment when you must trust that your inner state is what creates your reality. If you persist in the feeling that your wish is already fulfilled, you will begin to see the external world shift to match that belief. It may take time, but the more you persist, the sooner the external world will begin to reflect the inner assumption you are living. Sometimes persistence requires patience. It may feel like you are not seeing any changes at all, but every thought, every feeling, and every assumption you hold is contributing to the process of manifestation. Even if it is not immediately visible, the universe is aligning people, situations, and events to bring your desire to fruition. Persistence is not about forcing the universe to act on your timetable. It is about remaining steadfast in your belief that your desire is already coming into being. You do not need to worry about how or when it will happen. You need only to continue living as though it is already true.